Halloween definitely has to be my favorite holiday. Even though my parents say I'm too old to go trick-or-treating anymore, I still like Halloween. Whether I was watching a scary movie, going to the Spirit Halloween in my area, or even going to a party with my friends. Halloween used to scare me quite a bit as a kid, but now that I'm pretty much an adult, it doesn't really scare me that much. However, I'm going to tell you an experience of something that did scare me. It made my Halloween scarier, but not in the way you might expect. Let me explain what happened. It all started last night, October 31st, Halloween. I was bored and didn't really feel like trick-or-treating, so I decided to play a game on my phone to pass the time. Plants vs. Zombies 2 was what I was playing, to be specific. I decided to play the Lawn of Doom event, since that event was associated with Halloween. Plus, I loved using the special plants, the special Halloween-themed plants, like the ghost pepper and the jack-o'-lantern. So I opened up the app and opened up the Lawn of Doom event. But when I opened up the event, I noticed something odd. The event was not called Lawn of Doom, but it was now called Lawn of Death. I was a bit confused on why it was called that, but I just assumed that the developers just changed the name of the event without informing the fandom. So I tapped the first level. For the first 4 levels, everything was normal, but after the 5th level, I didn't receive any award, which was odd and even somewhat angered me, but I just assumed it was probably just the internet bugging out. No big deal. So I advanced to the next level, where it automatically picked jack-o'-lantern and ghost pepper for me, which, as you probably would imagine, made me happy. I played through the level and eventually had sun to plant both one ghost pepper and one jack-o'-lantern. So I planted them both on the lawn. But when I did, they looked off. They looked the same as they usually did, but their faces were horrifying. Their eyes were pure black, with only 2 red pupils, and they had super wide grins plastered on their faces, with black ooze drooling out of their eyes and mouths. I noticed that the expressions of other plants I put on the lawn had changed as well. They were all now looking at the jack-o'-lantern and ghost pepper that I had planted, with scared expressions on their faces. The ghost pepper and jack-o'-lantern then looked at each other and winked, and then my phone screen went black. It stayed black for about 20 seconds. When it came back on, the lawn was covered in blood. The jack-o'-lantern and ghost pepper were still in the same spots that I placed them in, but this time they were wearing masks. The ghost pepper wore a sunflower mask, while the jack-o'-lantern wore a bok choy mask. The masks also had red outlines around them, which made me terrified of what this would be implying. The ghost pepper then spoke and said, "Let's go get some candy." And then the ghost pepper and jack-o'-lantern moved off the lawn and out of the sight of the camera. And then the level abruptly ended and the event closed. I was speechless, appalled even. I didn't know what to say. I just decided to try and get my mind off of it by getting some sleep, since it was getting a bit late. So I slept for what felt like 15 minutes or so, when I heard what sounded like a strange tapping coming from the foot of my bed. At first I thought it was just my dog just scratching, trying to bug me or whatever. But this didn't sound like a dog. This sounded like the rustling of leaves? I slowly sat up and looked around to see nothing. I mean, even though it was dark, I could still see quite a bit, and saw that there was nothing at the foot of my bed, on the floor, nowhere. So I lay back down, but when I turned, I saw the ghost pepper and jack-o'-lantern staring at me. They were on my bed, next to me. And that's when I suddenly woke up. I was confused. Was all that just a dream I had? But no, it couldn't have been a dream. What about my experience in the game? What about that? Am I going insane?